Welcome to the More Than Your Average Joe podcast. This is episode 6, wrapping up January, going into February of 2021. How was your January? How was your month? It was 5 weeks, so it's a bit of a long month. I hope that any of you that sort of set goals and targets for not just for January, but like for the whole of 2021, I hope that you sort of stuck with these and you haven't been sort of disheartened by the current climate of the world. With all the coronavirus and the lockdowns that's going on throughout the country and throughout the whole world at the minute, but it's particularly for us in England, where we're sort of facing with the national lockdown, closing everything, restricting everything, all kids at home. A lot of people I've been talking to, it's been hard for everybody, my wife, bless her, she's been sort of stuck at home pretty much since March last year. Got 2 pretty much teenagers and a little toddler, so she's had a rough ride, as I'm sure most others as well. I was talking to somebody the other day who runs a business himself, and I said, we're quite fortunate that you and I, we have a distraction. We have a business which sort of gives us a break from everything, not like, because we're talking about our wives and obviously like the home life. We're fortunate that we have that bit of a gap that we can sort of get away from the house. We can be out for a little while, even just a mental distraction. Business, what we're doing, not just the same mundane being inside the house, same thing, sort of Groundhog Day every single day. So it's hard, I do sort of sympathise with everybody, everyone who's sort of involved in this at the minute, but particularly for all the house mums, fathers, the people that are literally just stuck inside their houses at the minute with like nothing to really sort of even get them away from that, So a salute to all of you that are doing a great job indoors, bringing your kids, turning into from like mothers and fathers to teachers, counsellors, every wearing every single hat under the sun. So well done to all of you. I hope you're coping. I know some of you aren't, and my heart goes out to you. Just try and stay strong, try and stay positive, because better times are coming. So, everybody that sort of turned around and said, January, I'm gonna be getting fit. I ain't gonna be drinking. I ain't gonna be doing all of this. I hope to God that that's you, and you're still sticking with it, because, like I say, it's been a long month. 5 weeks. 5 weeks is a lot of time, particularly when you look at the fact that sort of within sort of 2 to 3 weeks, most people that have set off with these aspirations to be better have fell off the wagon straight away. It's very, very hard to stick with something, especially now. A lot of people tend to have had that luxury of going to a gym, and January, do you know what I mean? It's always a packed time in the gyms. You get memes about it and stuff like that. But that's people's like real sort of escape. It's a lot easier, I find, even for myself, to get myself down to a gym as opposed to working out at home or going out for a run, even going out for a walk. We're in January. The weather ain't the greatest, as you can see in the background now. It's pissing down with rain outside. But ultimately, you have to have something that's going to sort of drive you forward. You've got to have that, not even necessarily so much of an ambition, because obviously everybody can have ambitions, but when it comes down to a certain sort of target, if you want to sort of lose a bit of weight, or if you want to start changing into a sort of healthy lifestyle, it's very hard when that's outside, it's raining, it's not the greatest, but ultimately you just got to have that. You got to have something which is going to push you forward, something which is going to make sure that you're not going to give up. You're not going to quit what you're doing, because ultimately you have to sort of think to yourself, who are you letting down by stopping? By if your sort of main goal was like, look, I need to lose some weight for myself. I need to lose some weight. I need to get in better shape to get my health, to get my fitness, to even feel a bit better, just to even feel like, aesthetically you're looking better. Are you letting yourself down by doing that, or is there somebody else? Is it the health for your kids? Are you trying to be a better role model to your family? Are you trying to do whatever you're trying to do? Are you letting down somebody else other than yourself? So that's the sort of question what you've got to be looking at, because, ultimately, the real person who you're letting down, whenever it comes down to that, you can have you can have it for your family, you can have it, but really it comes down to you. You're letting yourself down by not sticking to your goals, not sticking to what you said, because ultimately when you have to look at yourself in the mirror, when you have to listen to yourself and realise that, you know what, I said I was going to do this today, but I didn't. Man, do you know what I mean? It's hard. Like I've done that myself so many times. It's one of the hardest things to sort of never be calling yourself a loser, but do you know what I mean? Like to be like, oh, I said I was going to do this today. I mean, shit happens sometimes. Obviously, like if you wanted to go and do something, but something else pops up, that happens. But if you're sort of trying to make a commitment to yourself that you're gonna go out for a run twice a week, or you're gonna go and you're gonna see somebody that week, but you don't get round to doing it, ultimately, you're letting yourself down. So my advice is you have to sort of look inside yourself. You have to find your inner greatness, as I like to say. Well, I like to talk to myself about your inner greatness, because once you found that inner greatness, because everybody has it, yeah, that's where you're going to find your reason to keep on going. Once you've got that there, and you feel like you've got your championship inside you, that's going to keep pushing you. That's going to keep pushing you all the way, So try and channel that energy. Try and channel that energy as much as you can. I know, obviously, with the lockdowns, it's making a lot of things hard, especially discipline. Like I said, with like the gym, it's very easy to go into a gym, and also it's nice. It's nice for me anyway. Like when I was getting up in the morning, sort of 4:30, 5 o'clock, and going to the gym, I felt that was like a great way to start the day. It feels a lot different when you're just getting up to either to work out from your home or you're going outside. It's a different thing. So that discipline is very hard. Not only that, you're faced with everything that you're seeing on your phones. Yeah, all you got to do is pick up your phone in the morning, bang, straight away you're hit with some news. Your Apple News. I mean, I say Apple because I haven't got Samsung phone. I never dealt with that, but I'm sure you get the same sort of thing that will pop up on their news of the day, telling you about the coronavirus deaths, the rating in the world, and vaccines, no holidays, everything like that. It can really damage you. It can really damage you straight away. So I mean, like I've been trying as much as I can, sort of every single night, every single morning, come like sort of 8, 9 o'clock, I might set my alarm on my phone. That's it. I won't even look at that now. I won't even look at. I'll get notifications pop off, but I won't even look at that. I'll just either, get my phone, put it face down, silence, leave it. Come 5 o'clock in the morning, my alarm's off. I get up, obviously, turn my alarm off, get up, and then I'll try as best as I can. Because what I've been doing is obviously going out and exercising first thing in the morning before my day starts. But at that time there, I'll make sure that I'm not checking my phone. I'm not looking at it, because ultimately you can get distracted by something straight away. As soon as you wake up in the morning, you could be like, oh shit. Like for me personally, for my business, sometimes I might wake up with a message from somebody that's either messaged me the night before or they messaged me first thing in the morning that they're not coming in. Instantly that starts setting my mind going. Or even it might not even be that. It could just be someone asking me a question. But ultimately, that first sort of hour of your day, for me personally anyway, you have to use that for yourself. And if you're instantly you're looking at your phone first thing in the morning, you're reading a message from somebody, you're looking at an email, you're looking at your news, that hour's no longer yours, because it's now somebody else's. somebody else has started stealing your time. Somebody else has started stealing your thoughts, because straight away you're already thinking stuff. I said to my wife, what we're going to do is actually buy an alarm clock. And to be honest with you, I could not believe how bloody expensive just a digital alarm clock was. You know, you think like they'd be near on obsolete, but just for like a shitty standard like digital alarm clock, it's about 15 quid. Like, I'm expecting to be paying like about £2 for like just a standard alarm clock. What I'm seeing there is like some dead, just standard digital alarm clock, 15 quid. Like, come on, man. But anyway, I've seen some other ones, but that's another story. So I'm gonna get myself one of them. So then, you know, ultimately you can maybe even leave your phone out of your bedroom. You've got an alarm clock in the morning, you can see what time it is. If you get up in the middle of the night, you've got that there, you're good. You know, because ultimately there's a Jim Rohn quote, says, stand guard at the door of your mind. And ultimately what that comes down to is making sure whatever gets in here is not going to be affecting in here. You know, whatever you hear in your ears doesn't get into your mind. Yeah, or what you see through your eyes doesn't get into your mind. You got to be careful about this stuff, because this is serious stuff. You know, like it really is. And if you can start being more aware of what you're putting into your ears, what you're putting through your eyes, even the stuff that you're talking, because the stuff that you're talking is another really, really powerful one as well. If you are, like I was saying earlier on about, obviously with your discipline, with the things, what you're saying, if you're calling yourself a loser, that's probably like one of the realest, horriblest things you can possibly even ever say. You know, you have to be, like I said, finding your inner champion, your inner greatness, and talking to yourself like you're a god. You know, even in my darkest days, I still believe I'm a god. Always. I can probably feel like absolute shit inside and outside. Somewhere inside here, somewhere up here, I'm like Zeus. You know what I mean? I'm like some real sort of champion, like up here. Do you know what I mean? I always believed that. No matter what sort of problems, hardships, anything like that that we go through, like that's the soul of me, because I know ultimately you have to be able to talk greatness into yourself to be able to even stand half a chance of achieving greatness. They are sort of real major keys to sort of living a much happier life. It's like the whole thing about like fake it till you make it, to an extent, like that's pretty damn true. Like, because ultimately, if you're telling yourself, as sort of hard as it is sometimes, and everything's sort of crumbling down around you, but if you can tell yourself like you're still winning, you're still looking good, like you're still great, yeah. It's a lot better than if everything's crumbling down around you and you're saying, "Oh, I'm a fucking loser." Like, "Oh, this is all no. This is terrible. Like, I'm not winning. I'm not doing good." You know, if everything's bad, but you're like, "Boom, I can deal with this. It's all right." Like, I'm a champion. I can deal with anything that comes my way. I can fend it off. I can beat this. Yeah, you stand a hell of a lot of a better chance. You know. Another thing is about being present to your current times. Yeah, and again, obviously that the corona times are obviously dark times, but ultimately, you know, in the darkness you'll always find the light. So you just have to be able to find the best of things. That's what I've always said to people. Whenever we start getting into these conversations, I always say, look, you just got to make the best of it as it is right now, because ultimately, yes, do you know what I mean? Countries might be in lockdown, can't go on holidays, can't see your families, can't see your friends. I mean, that's pretty bleak. But if you're grateful for what you do have, if you're present with your current situations, you know, I mean, like, one sort of way to put it in a bit more perspective. I'm sitting here right now, I'm recording this, yeah? It don't matter what's going on outside, because I'm here, I'm doing this right now, yeah? So whatever else is going on around the world is not affecting this current situation. Fuck me, if an airplane crashed or a missile blew up me right now, yeah, that would affect the situation. But anything else was going on around it right now, I'm good. Do you know what I mean? I'm here. We're recording. This is about being present. I was out the other day with my daughter. She come out for a run with me. We was running, doing a bit of walking, running, walking, talking, And she said to me, there was somebody, like, I'll have to ask her to try and remember like whose name it was, but like there was, like a not a philosopher or someone who's like predicted like the future, or someone who like years back like predicted the coronavirus was going to come. Documented, like supposedly all legit, which I believe, and because that happens. And then she said, "Oh, apparently in June there's supposed to be a big tsunami that's going to start wiping out the world, or like like a load of countries could start wiping out the countries." So I said to her, as good as it is to have goals, to have targets, to have dreams, obviously in this case it's more like a sort of nightmare, like a worry or concern. But I said to her, don't let the faults of your future or your past rob you of your present. Because all it's doing is taking you away from like this moment, like I'm saying, like here now. If you're worrying about what's going to happen next week or something that happened like a few months ago, it's taking you away from the place where you are right now. Again, this is something which is, it's easy to say, a lot harder to do. I'm a victim of it myself. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm only human, yeah, like the same with everybody else. But if you can try and sort of train your own mind, train your own body to try and think a bit like this, then, like I say, you stand a lot better chance. These are good things to take on board. Have goals, set targets. Do you know what I mean? Of course, that's what it's all about. Do you know what I mean? You've got to have ambition. You've got to have drive. You've got to be there to be able to do something. But if you're constantly like not happy now because of what you've got, what you're looking to achieve in the future, or like so the other famous things like, I'll be happy when I've got this, or when I've got like X amount of pounds or dollars in the bank, then I'll be happy, but ultimately it's taking away your presence of right now, and that is where you need to be. You got to try and train yourself a bit better to live that life, because otherwise, do you know what I mean, you're never going to be happy. You'll never ever be happy if that's what you're never present. Spending time with my family at home, I've got like probably 1,000,001 things going on inside my head, and it's hard. It really is hard, and it's something which I've only just really started properly like trying to sort of adapt to it, like over the past sort of couple of years. Like, really, do you know what I mean? Like, just taking that time to step away from what's actually going on outside, step away from the phones, step away from the emails, step away from like what's going on inside here, and just actually spend that time to sit with my family, sit with my kids. Do you know what I mean? Try and have jokes. I ain't gonna lie to you. Do you know what I mean? It's very hard. It's very hard to do, and I'm far from perfect at it. But I'm trying. And if I'm trying, do you know what I mean? In my mind, there, in my heart, I'm doing my best what I can do. It's very hard. Very hard times right now. All I remember like when this first lockdown hit, and I was saying to my wife, like, I'm gonna take my boy out. I'm gonna take him out with me because he should be seeing like what's actually going on, because it's like a sort of moment in history, like what's going on. But that was back in probably March, April last year. Like, Jesus Christ, man, we're like now in February and it's still going on. Probably even worse. Like, this is like monumental times in history, and it's challenging, man. It's challenging for everybody, and I'm sure, like, do you know what I mean? You hear this all the time, but you have to push on, because ultimately, like I just said about obviously being present here right now, yes, unfortunately, like I've lost some people which I know, which are close to me, which have had people die. Yeah, I know people that have actually had this virus. It is a legit thing. Do you know what I mean? It is real, but ultimately, you can't let it stop what you're actually doing, because otherwise, you might as well just give up. Like right now, if you're gonna, like some people have literally stayed inside their house since sort of March last year, and that's heartbreaking. So, my thoughts and best wishes will go to these people. I hope they can turn around and they can make it back from these times, because they're brutal. I think for this month, like it's been quite challenging for myself. Like this month, I've had a lot of obstacles. I started phase 2 of 75 hard. In all honesty, I very much enjoyed it. It's I'm on day 28, I think day 28 now. So like I've only got like a couple more days of this now, and then I've done it. Yeah, it's been difficult. I've enjoyed it, but at the same time, it's been one of them things which has probably helped push me through this whole month. No alcohol, no no cheat meals, 5 liters of water a day, 4 or 5 liters of water a day. Progress picture, everything. It's just something that's just kept me on my game. Like, do you know what I mean? All this month, no matter like everything what's been going on. So that's been really good. I've been quite fortunate enough to be in there, because phase 2 is the equivalent of the first 75 hard, which obviously for 75 hard you have to take a progress picture every day, stick to a diet. There's no cheat meals, no alcohol. You got to read 10 pages of a book every single day and drink, like I say, a gallon of water. But you do that for 75 days. Phase 1, you had all of them things, and then you had to visualize. You had an extra 3 critical tasks that you had to do throughout the daytime. What was the other thing? See, I missed it, but basically that the phase 1 I found was very hard. That was very hard to do, to something to stick to, because at some points I was even questioning myself, like, am I fucking nuts here? Like, do you know what I mean? I'm like, I had to make sure that I was getting all this stuff in, but it's good. Like, it's good for you to have these sort of challenges, to be able to do something. Now, and I stand by that 75 hard program, because it's phenomenal. It's done me wonders for myself. It's done me wonders for myself, my body, my mind, everything. Like, it's fantastic. I really, really got into like reading at the beginning of the lockdown last year. I started doing that. And obviously this was in March, so this was before I even started 75 hard, which I'd done after my birthday in July. So I started getting back into reading. But like now, reading is something which I actually love. Like, I really enjoy doing. So throughout this phase 2, I've read the 5 a.m. Club. Now, I think what I'm looking to do, like with this, with the whole podcast journey, what I'm doing now is, at least sort of minimum, you're getting once a month, you're going to be getting an episode like this from myself. But in the mix, like a book club. So like a book review. So whatever I'm reading, do you know what I mean? I'm going to just at least give you my thoughts, give you a little review on the book, because I think it's quite interesting. Not only that, it's good for me, because I can go back and listen to it just to try and pick up like the little gems which I've got from there. So 5 a.m. Club, fantastic books. I think it's probably like one of the, so far anyway, like probably like one of the best books I've ever read, because it was like a story, but at the same time it was very, like a lot of deep stuff in there as well, like a lot of like real good, like fantastic quotes in there. The story was brilliant. Like thinking back about it, is really, really good book. So if you haven't read that, go check it out. Like, go check it out, read it, listen out for the show, because I've started preparing some stuff down so I can actually go through like parts of the book. I'm not going to obviously give you no spoilers away. Which even when I was reading it, I was like thinking, oh, what's going to happen? Like, what's going to happen here? Anyway, that episode will come soon. I'm going to record that in the next sort of couple of weeks and put that up. So watch out for that. I think ultimately, like, one of the sort of main things what I can even try and sort of leave you with is about just obviously, no matter how hard things are, how much sort of negativity that there is around you, you've just got to stay focused. You have to stay focused in what you're doing right now. You've got to be almost bulletproof. Do you know what I mean? Like I said before in like the previous episodes about taking them hits. How many hits can you take, and how many times can you keep going forward and keep pushing on? Like, that's where you have to be. Like that 75 hard's great discipline. It's taught me so much. And I remember saying to like my friend as well, it's like, the good thing about like the app was like you're accountable like to this app, like you're using it like constantly, but ultimately like the realization is you're not accountable to an app. You're not accountable to like to the challenge. I mean, obviously you are to an extent. You're accountable to yourself. Like I said earlier on about like who you're letting down. Do you know what I mean? Ultimately, you're letting yourself down. If you fuck something up, you're letting yourself down. No one else. You're letting yourself down. So stay focused. Stay committed to whatever you set yourself out to do. Don't let the lockdowns lock you down. All right, because ultimately you're a free person. You're not in prison. You're not in prison at all. Do you know what I mean? You could be prison in your mind, but ultimately, if you can still push forward, still just get on with your daily life as best as you can. Obviously, stay safe and do everything that you have to do and whatever you feel is right to do, because everybody's got their own sort of opinions and views on these whole situations, but ultimately you have to find whatever's right for yourself, and then you have to just deal with it and push forward. Find all of the light in the darkness. Yeah, because it is there. Like I said before, do you know what I mean? As hard times are, there's always, like when they say like one door slams, another one opens, That's a fact. That's a fact. So many times I've had like things like where I thought like my world was ending, business. I was thinking, fuck, like I've just lost like this deal, or, what's happened here? Like this work slowed down, but ultimately you can't see it at the time, but it's opening up better things for you. And that's so true. It really is, like trust the process. Trust the process of life. Make sure that you're constantly, as long as you're doing all your best, as long as you're doing whatever you can do, and you can look yourself in the mirror every single goddamn night and say, yeah, I done well today. I'm proud of myself. Yeah. Tomorrow I'm going to do even better. Yeah. And then the day after that, I'm going to do better. As long as you can always look at yourself like that. Hey, listen, man, no matter whatever sort of circumstances are going on around you, as long as you can know and you can look yourself in the mirror every single night and you can say, I did my best, that's what matters. It's really what matters, Old, my favourite man, old Grant Cardone, he says, you cannot fail if you don't quit. Yeah? Take that one away with you, because ultimately, if you have whatever sort of dreams you've got, whatever sort of ambitions you've got, whatever you want to do, as long as you don't quit, you can never fail. Sure, you can fuck up 100 things along the way. Of course you can. Do you know what I mean? Anyone who's on their path to greatness always fucks up somewhere along the line. I'm pretty certain if you go through like the history books, anybody who's ever got to like the real levels of greatness has had many, many failures along the way, So, ultimately, just keep on going. Keep on going. I hope throughout this month of January and the current climate and circumstances hasn't beaten you up too much. I hope you're still pushing forward. I hope every person, like everyone who set these goals out there for themselves, still going through it. Do you know what I mean? Never lose sight of it. Never lose sight of your commitments. Never lose sight of what you're actually doing, because ultimately, like I said earlier on, you're only letting yourself down. There's a big world out there. There's a big world out there. There's a great things there destined for you. There's great things destined for everybody. Ultimately, you just have to be willing to go out there, put that work in, do exactly what you need to do, take them hits, keep on going, never stop doing what you set out to do. Look yourself in the mirror every single night and say to yourself, you're the fucking best person to ever walk this earth. Okay? So, listen, that's my show for today. I will be posting up in the next sort of couple of weeks, the 5 a.m. Club book review. Yeah, so that'll be coming. And then we'll touch base again throughout February. More content, just constantly there. Anybody, any questions, if you ever want to get in touch with me about anything, More Than Your Average Joe on Instagram, you can email me directly. It's mtyaj@outlook.com. Yeah, I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to help you. Listen, I'm your friend, guys. All right, be in touch. Peace out.